after reporting nothing but doom and gloom, I am finally happy to report some actually good news for the gaming community, and specifically those of you who are fans of Steins. What is going on, you guys? It is the Daily Pleb here. Make sure to like and sub for more content. But here is the article today. Instead of modernizing Steins reboot, we'll preserve the now fading legacy of 2010's otaku slang and Akibara culture, devs say. And I gotta say, what an inflammatory, douchey headline. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with preserving games as they were. If a lot of these companies that were making reboots and remasters actually did that, maybe they'd actually sell. But that's a topic for another day. Although Steins reboot features improved graphics, fully re-recorded dialogue, and expanded narrative that incorporates Steins Elite's story and a brand new ending, it won't be modernizing any nuances in its language and atmosphere, remaining heavily rooted in 2010's Japanese otaku culture. While the devs at Mages initially wanted to update the reboot for modern audiences, you always love to see that term about video games and specifically remasters, don't you? They ultimately decided to keep the now dated elements as they originally were. They're not dated, my friend. They are not dated. Many people yearn for the 2010s. I, as an early 2000s child, desperately missed the early 2000s, but that's neither here nor there. In an interview with GameSpark, Science Adventure series producer and director of the original Steins Tatsuya Matsubara, alongside series scenario writer Naotaka Hayashi, talked about how 2010's otaku slang and Akibara culture affected Steins Steins is set in 2010's Akibara. Looking back now, that atmosphere and vibe are truly part of what has become a legacy. And this is true, you know, games are usually testaments to the time they were made. In a game like Steins where it's mainly about art style and vibe, people want that. If you remake Steins and you put in, you know, modern elements, maybe if you don't even, you know, go woke, so to speak, you just put in modern language and elements, people don't enjoy it. You know, it's like when I'm playing a game set in, you know, medieval Europe, and if I were to hear somebody, you know, some random NPC say no cap, nobody wants to hear that. It's ridiculous. But I am glad they went to the direction of preserving the legacy of the game. Always happy to see a developer care about the product they're trying to make. So much has been lost since then. By recreating that era of Akibara, something that doesn't exist in 2025, visually, I wanted those who remember it to feel nostalgia. Conversely, I want those unfamiliar with the time to experience something fresh, Hayashi comments. The developers say that it isn't just the aesthetic of 2010 Akibara that gives Steins its charms. Oh boy. Rintaro Akabe and the other characters also make liberal use of otaku terms and internet slang from the era. Terms such as, oh boy, Elsai Konguru, Okabe's signature phrase, which has no meaning, world lines, and Itaru Hashida's online handle, Dash, short for Daru the Super Hacker, help reinforce that the game is about a bunch of skilled, slightly delusional teenagers growing up in the early days of the internet. During development, there was a heated debate about whether or not Steins reboot should use the updated slang to fit modern audiences. After much deliberation, it was decided that preserving the now obsolete slang would be pivotal in reviving the legacy by helping others understand it. And once again, I don't know who this developer is. I've never played Steins, but I have to say I am so happy to see that the developers were actually having a debate. They were talking about it. They were agonizing it. They were trying to figure out what is the best way to bring this classic game into the new era. And I just find this so refreshing that it was an actual discussion, and it wasn't like so many, you know, like Square Enix games reboots, or just really any reboot, to be completely honest with you. I've never played a reboot that I've actually enjoyed, because it's usually garbage, with the exception of the Resident Evil ones. I actually quite like those. But it is nice seeing that people, you know, it shows that the devs care, is I guess what I'm trying to get at, and that's so rare these days, unfortunately. Matsubara adds that recreating Akibara's visuals as a major point of significance for the reboot. When searching for reference materials online, the developers found it difficult to find images from Akibara from 2010. Thankfully, Mages had done location scouting twice, once in the original 2009 Steins Gate and another time for the 2011 anime adaptation. So they had a lot of photographic material from the time to draw from. I mentioned earlier about the lack of reference materials. Surprisingly, even searching online, photos of 2010 Akibara are hard to find. In that sense, preserving it as a reference resource was a theme I personally considered important. That's also why we're creating such detailed photorealistic illustrations for backgrounds, Matsubara explains. While the team is meticulously drawing the game's environments by hand, they're finding it difficult to contract the right shareholders of stores that has since shut down. This is so that they can accurately recreate the store signboard features in the photos in hopes that they will live on spiritually through the reboot. Man, almost brings a tear to my eye. This is such a... Like, if you've been in touch with gaming news, just hearing this is like unironically powerful, right? Like, to find a dev who is actually trying to reach out to old store owners so that they can have their businesses in their game, like, you just can't find this dedication anymore. And I don't know when this game will release in 2026, but I guarantee you it will be a definite purchase for me, just to support the absolute care that the devs are having for this game. And I hope they continue down this path, and, you know, they don't switch up on, you know, the consumers, because unfortunately we have seen a lot of devs who, you know, in one side of their mouth saying, oh, this is going to be a faithful recreation, you know, looking at you, Gothic, but, you know, and then it turns out not to be a faithful recreation at all. And, you know, it's just good to see a dev who actually cares. And that's the end of this video, you guys. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Are you a Steins Gate fan? Are you not? Will you be buying it? Will you not be? Because I know I will be, because I definitely want to support a developer who clearly, in just this short interview that I've been able to read, definitely cares about people who want to play his game and cares about his game just in general. And that is just so refreshing to see in an industry where it feels like, you know, modern devs, and really just not even the devs, like modern studios, are just so happy to chuck away everything that made their studios and their video games great. But I'm rambling, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye now.